Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome back to another episode of the OCast with me, your boy O. In this episode right here, we're going to talk about this fight we all just watched between Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury. If you're a boxing fan, you know who Tyson Fury is, the WBC World Heavyweight Champion of the world and Lineal Champion of the world heavyweight. Francis Ngannou. Now, everybody might not be familiar with bro. Francis Ngannou is an MMA fighter, formerly signed to the UFC. He's former heavyweight champion of the world. I'm not really a big fan of UFC. I only watch the gentleman who I am a fan of, which is really short list. It's only was Francis Ngannou, Kamaru Usman, Israel Adesanya, and I like Sean O'Malley as well. If those guys aren't fighting, then I'm not tuning in to UFC fight. It is what it is. But if it comes to Atlanta, it's definitely something I want to check out live. It definitely be something I want to check out live. But with that being said, Francis Ngannou is very, very popular guy. Very, very popular guy. He's not like I said. I don't think he's no longer signed to UFC, but it's not gonna stop bro from getting the bag. And I'm pretty sure from what it looked like in this pay per view, they just made a really big bag, and I'm proud of bro. Now, Francis Ngannou, a lot of people were like, it's just another crossover fight. It's no different than Logan Paul, Jake Paul, or when Conor McGregor fought Floyd. A lot of people who are purists claim to be that of boxing may not be a fan of this fight, may not even tuned in, but most likely you still watched it. And in my opinion, it wasn't that bad. Francis Ngannou really showed himself to be a formidable opponent to Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury looked like he kind of came out there, he really didn't think that it was going to be like that. He really didn't. In the first round, really, Tyson came out with an aggressive shot, a hook, and that's not really his game. Tyson Fury, he's really more so of a technician, even though he is the biggest heavyweight, 6'9", almost 300 pounds, but the fact that he is a technician, he's so skilled, and he combines that with the fact that he's always the bigger guy. That's why he's undefeated, because he has boxing skills. But he's also the biggest person, and he knows how to throw that weight around on you, and that's going to tire you out and to get you and put you in situations where he's going to be able to use combinations and then set up his power shots that really aren't that strong. He's not really a big time power puncher. However, you can't have that kind of game plan against Francis Ngannou. You can't, because he's too big, he's too solid. It's not like finding Deontay Wilder, who's 6'6", 6'7", who's more like 220. Like, he barely a heavyweight if you really want to think about it. He's barely a heavyweight. He's only like 220, maybe 215. But with that being said, Francis Ngannou 6'4", and not too much lighter than Tyson Fury. He held his ground. He was active when it came to counter punches. Whenever Tyson Fury was clinching, which was a lot, Tyson Fury was really clinching a lot. But every time in the clinch, Ngannou would push him off and he'll pop, hit him with his two shots. Now, Fury ended up winning the fight. Initially after the fight, I was like, that's robbery. That's some bull. But as I rewatched the highlights, because I did watch the fight live, as I rewatched the highlights and looked at the numbers, I can understand why. And this is the part of boxing that people don't necessarily like, but it is what it is. When these two men are fighting, it has to be some type of point system, some type of score in order to win the fight. And that's a part of the sweet science. Right? Now, Francis Ngannou can feel like he won because he's thinking in an MMA mindset. In MMA is what? 3 rounds, and the championship fights are 5. But the aggression and the action is more quick and more close combat. And it's not, if you're an MMA fan, hey, I mean this, but I don't mean no disrespect. But MMA is not more of a chess match as boxing. With boxing, you only have your hands to use, versus in MMA, you have submissions at your disposal. You have your fist, your knees, your elbows, your feet. You have so much more at your disposal. What you can grapple or bring to the ground, wrestle. There's so much more to your disposal in MMA. But in boxing, it's just your hands, which makes it more difficult. That's why it's a chess match. It's a sweet science. And Tyson Fury showed that IQ. He showed that veteran ringmanship in what you want to fight now. Ty- Tyson landed a lot more punches, 71 total punches landed compared to Francis 59. I mean, I said a lot, but some people may say, hey, it's only what, 12, 11? That's a big difference. It's a big difference. I mean, but they were both pretty much the same amount of active. Francis threw 231 punches and Tyson threw 223. But because of that, Tyson had a higher percentage. He had a 32% land punch rate versus Francis Ngannou's 26. And I'm pretty sure that's what the judges were looking at. And I know Tyson knew that. Him being a veteran fighter in this boxing game, those are the things and the savviness that you can use to win a match, especially after you get caught in the third round, which he did. But even before that, Fury caught a cut in the second round on his forehead. It didn't look too bad, but who knows how the man's body heals or his face heals. And, that got to get healed up a certain way before the fight between Usyk, and I'm going to get into that towards the end of the video. But Ngannou came to fight, and I don't think Tyson and Fury expected that. Tyson Fury, I've seen him fight, maybe 5 times now since he first initially fought Deontay Wilder. That was the first time I saw him fight, which is Deontay versus him the first time. And I was impressed. But he's very playful. He's very goofy, and he knows how to sell a fight. And I could tell that in the beginning of this fight, even though it wasn't technically an expedition, this was a real fight that is going towards their records. He came out with I'm gonna take this. This is gonna be easy work. And Francis Ngannou, after the fight in the interview, who said that the reason he taunted him after the knockdown with a little shimmy was because Tyson at the beginning of the fight, he was like, "All right, let's go to school." Like, nah, bruh. Francis like, nah, you got the game messed up, bro. I'm here to win. I've been doing this. I'm not a newbie. A lot of people were saying, such as Timothy Bradley, Joe Tessitore, the 2 gentlemen that were on the broadcast team. And then on social media, a lot of professional boxers are saying, how in the world does he get this good in just 4 months? It's because it's not just 4 months. Bro said he'd been doing this. This is what he's always wanted to do. The MMA is just what presented itself first. And he took the opportunity and made the most of it. And that is what you're supposed to do. Again, back to the stats, 39 jabs compared to Francis' 22. That's IQ. That's learning how to work your jab, keep that spacing. And a lot of times guys use that jab in order to set up the big punch because you use that jab, right? And then that power punch, you use that jab for placement as aim for that power punch to come right then after that for the knockout. And Tyson Fury is real good at that, but he's not very strong, which you saw in the fight. Ngannou got that chin. He was taking every major punch that Tyson threw, he ate. To me, there wasn't really a point in the fight where Francis was hurt. There was definitely a point in the fight where I could tell he was fatigued. He was tired. Like, this is a lot. And after the fight and post-game conference with one-on-one interview, not the post-conference, but a one-on-one interview, he said that he could tell that Tyson, about round 4 or 5, he was like, okay, he started switching it up on him, like, okay, this is a real fight. However, Francis felt like he still had to pace himself because he didn't want to get too fatigued too fast. He wanted to go the long haul, even though he knew that coming in, going to the scorecards, he most likely was going to lose, which was definitely what happened. But I think that's where he made a mistake. He shouldn't have tried to go the long haul. He should have came in there trying to knock him on his ass. That should have been the main point. No, don't go in there looking crazy, swinging haymakers, throwing overhead cowboy swings like you some little kid. But go in with that technique that you had. I mean, you had Mike Tyson in training camp. I know Mike Tyson showed him techniques on, that slipping that Mike used to do that was so classic. That slippage, that hard slipping, and then that ducking inside and that uppercut, that deadly uppercut that took out so many people. I didn't really see none of that. What Francis was doing, he was catching him on the post clinches when Tyson usually bullies people, but not him. As soon as they unclench, he was hitting them with two pieces. And then after that, he was attacking them in the corner. Tyson really, I felt like Tyson was like, well, shit, bro, back up, homeboy. He was really going for a lot of clinches, really going for a lot of clinches. Fury got, Fury definitely got a good workout, a good tune-up fight for his next one. A real good one because, I mean, like I said, initially after the fight, I'm like, nah, this is some bull. He got robbed. Francis won that. He didn't. He didn't. Uh, Even though those power punches wasn't making like major damage on Francis, like I said, he was eating them. It still landed punches. It still is a part of the scorecard. That is a point. And the balance of punches, Fury landed 32 power punches compared to Francis landing 37. However, Francis threw like over 20 something more. He threw 116 power punches compared to Tyson's 86, which is a 37 to 32% clip compared to the two. So basically, in every single percentage category when it comes to landing, Fury had the definite upper hand. And ringmanship, being able to use a ring and clutches and all that type of stuff. I'm not a fan of clutching, especially the heavyweights. Y'all too big for that. Get off me. Fight. You dig? But apparently maybe that's something that they use as far as scoring. But it is what it is. Look, that's Fury's only 7th time ever being knocked out in a fight. Ever. So, and this is Francis Ngannou's first fight, debut. I was very impressed with him, man. I'm proud of him as a fan of him in MMA and in what he's doing now. If you know his story, I'm not going to speak too much on it because, I don't want any sympathy for the gentleman. But if you don't know his full story, please look it up. From Cameroon, separated from his parents early. I don't think that they're not by death or anything, but he moved, I believe, to France or whatnot. Was homeless 2 years or whatnot, sleeping in garages on parks. When you hear a story like that from a man, stories of perseverance, as a fellow black man, how could you not root for him? How could you not be a fan? How could you not? Just a good dude. And I love what he's doing. I'm happy he got a major payday. I'm happy he was able to fulfill his dream of being a professional boxer, which he did in this fight. He now has an 0-1 record. He said that he has plans to fight in February or March. He is not very much decided if it's going to be MMA or boxing. No, he's not signed to UFC. But he mentioned the other company that he's assigned to or signed a contract to. I don't remember the name of it. Like I said, I'm not a major UFC fan, but he is also a registered professional boxer now. He wants to continue to do both. He wants to be a dual threat, a dual sport athlete. I think he can do it. It's a tough task. I believe he's 37 years old, but he looks like he's in great shape. So I support him. Anytime he fight, I really recommend for everybody to tune in, and I definitely will. Now to Tyson Fury, to the real-time boxing. Like I say, Tyson, I think that this was a major unnecessary risk. I get it. I mean, it was a major payday. Saw Ryder, they putting in that money. I think they're trying to be some type of big-time sports hub. If I'm not mistaken, isn't this like the same country or the same people that made Live Golf, and then the same country where WWE, major WWE fan, WWE keeps having Crown Jewel there every single year, and then they have the Greatest Royal Rumble there too as well. But they trying to be big time hub for sports entertainment. You can't be mad at it. That's what's up. But Tyson, this was a very unnecessary risk, bro. You really could have lost this fight if you didn't wake up to your senses and start point boxing. Point boxing. That is what saved him. Now, after the fight, him and Ole, I don't think it's Alexander. I think it's Alexander Usyk, the IBF, WBA, and WBO champion, heavyweight champion of the world. And I had to think about it. I had to close my eyes and think about it. You feel me? You got to close your eyes and say, it's the 1, the 2, the 3. Anyway, and Tyson is a WBC champ. So this is going to be an undisputed heavyweight title fight between those two gentlemen. That is definitely 100,000% their next two fight. It's confirmed. Now because of the cut over Tyson Fury on his forehead, I think almost not right where my mole is, but maybe like a little bit up here. He got a pretty good, decent cut. Um, Gotta wait for that to heal. I don't think it's gonna take too long for that. It didn't. It wasn't like he was leaking in a fight, but he did get bust open. Um, when that gets healed, they're gonna have the fight. It's initially, I believe, scheduled for December 23rd, but it's tentative, so it may be after early January. Could possibly be a New Year's Day fight or a New Year's Eve fight, something like that. And I'm definitely tuning in because it's like I said, heavyweight is my favorite division. I myself am a heavyweight. I've been heavyweight since a junior in high school. I've always been a big boy, so I'm always gonna rock with the big boys. You feel me? Um, the next major fight in boxing, the one to see, is he my favorite? Second favorite? I'm still Deontay Wilder fan, even though he let me down. But Shakur is definitely what probably 1A, 1B, 1C. Shakur Stevenson versus I believe Edwin. I'm not sure his first. I don't know how to pronounce his first name, but last name De Los Santos for the vacant WBC lightweight title, the title that was stripped from Devin Haney for having the cross fight against Columbosis. Because of that fight, he was stripped of his WBC title because he had a mandatory with somebody else. So, no, not Kambosis. His fight against Lomachenko. Because he fought Lomachenko, he lost a WBC fight. I stand corrected. And because of that, Shakur and De Los Santos are fighting for this title on November 16th in pay-per-view. Definitely tuning in because I believe that Shakur is one of the big time. No, matter of fact, let me scratch that. He is the best young fighter in boxing. Pound for pound, he is the best. Yes, better than Boots, better than Tank, better than Enos, better than Ngannou. I don't know. Ngannou kind of fire. That Japanese dude be going crazy. Think of Japanese. But anyway, Shakur is that boy. And you need to watch him, need to tune in. He's definitely going to tune in the fight, capture that title. I believe it's going to be light work. Light work, slight work, easy work, nothing. You feel me? But tune in. Like I say, this was a close fight. Francis only won one card, 95 to 94, while Fury won the other two, 96 to 93 and 95 to 94, split decision. Tyson Fury, I know everybody is in arms about, yeah, he got robbed, but look at the numbers and then rewatch the highlights or rewatch the whole fight. I necessarily don't have time for that. I gotta watch the rest of these college football games because I gotta give my breakdown on that. I took a pause on the Colorado game to make this video here, just to get back on that. But hey, like I say, rewatch the highlights, rewatch the fight, and tell me if you still feel the same way that Francis won. Like it was close, but think about it in a scores type of mentality, not a fan who's looking for who was more exciting. Think of it as a judger's mindset of what is you taking in for points. Fury won that fight. I know the MMA guys don't like it. Usman, after the fight in the interview, made a comment that he believes Francis won and that Tyson just started point boxing, and it is what it is. That's what they do in boxing. Hey, bro, you can't be mad, bro. This they sport. Conor McGregor said that he can't wait for a boxer to come in MMA, bro. No. Boxers better not do that stupidness. Do not. There's a reason why the MMA fighters, the UFC fighters are trying to go into boxing. It's a reason. You dig? Don't be stupid and go backwards and go into their fight and then go in their ring and get embarrassed because you're not used to these elbows, these knees, these submissions, these wrestling, this grappling. Like I said, there's so much more to it. You know what I mean? A guy that boxes, I believe it's more easy for you to restrain yourself from using your feet and your legs and your knees and elbows and all that type of stuff. As far as an MMA fighter going to boxing, I believe it is easier for them to go into that versus a boxer who their whole life has only used these. For you to go in a ring, in a cage where all this other stuff is now legal, I don't think that that is a smart move for any boxer because you will lose. That's borderline. That's more of street fighting almost. You're not going to win that. It's not. You don't have the instincts. You don't have the mentality. So Connor and those guys can keep crying for that, but I don't. If any of them boxers are smart, they better not do that foolishness. Clarissa Shields could do it. You know, it's a little different. But you men, nah, don't do that. Do not do that. Mess around, go in there and get y'all legs snapped, necks broke, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, it was a close fight. Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou. It was a very big, nice spectacle. I saw it all. The last fight, the co-main event between the two heavyweights. Um, oh, man, I can't remember that dude's name. Both foreign, but it was fight. It was a nice fight. It was a nice fight. It was a nice fight. Um, Pretty much to me the best crossover fight I've ever seen. The Jake Paul fights, the Logan fights, the KSI fights, all those fights. This was the best one. To me, Francis was the one. He fought the highest competition out of all those guys. He fought a real boxer, a champion. You know what I'm saying? Only other one of them that really fought somebody was Logan, but Floyd was in expedition mode. He retired. The man got the fade. Floyd, I'm always say until Floyd shave his head, he ain't never fight again. The fact that he got the fade, I know he ain't boxing no more. But he was, and then he was really out there playing with Logan, so that don't really count. This right here, Francis Ngannou, I believe in him to come in and make some splashes. I think a good person for him to fight next would probably be King Kong Ortiz or, or maybe Ruiz. Those two just fought, and Ruiz whooped Ortiz ass. But Ruiz is nice. Ruiz got hands. Ruiz, I'm a fan of Ruiz. He's nice. He would probably beat Francis, but it would be good if Francis could pull that out. Francis need to fight guys like that. However, Ruiz is probably out of the table. I believe Ruiz is probably next up to fight Fury after Usyk or the winner of that fight, because he's up. He's not up. He's the number one contender, I believe, for the WBC heavyweight title. But it is what it is. Like I said, it was a great fight. Please rewatch it. Really tell me if you really feel like Francis won that fight. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you disagree with me, that's fine. I told y'all, this is a safe space for us to talk about the sports. Basically, the barbershop on YouTube. You dig? This has been another episode of the O-Cast with me, your boy O. Out.